Hello everyone, hope it's going well. I'm Benjamin Kier. Welcome back to the Benjamin Kier Show. I've done a good job of not showing favoritism to my hometown, but right now we've got to talk about it. Miami sports are looking good right now. Miami's on fire, quite literally. It's not like it's just one sport either. We're firing on all cylinders. And for possibly the first time in my tenure as a Miami sports fan, I can confidently say that it's not just a stroke of luck. Quality teams have identified their talent, and they're in a groove. South Florida is known for its beaches and the water. Well, I'd say it looks like smooth sailing right now. It was an awesome weekend as a fan. Let me recap the events. The Marlins took 2 wins over the weekend, solidifying their series win over Philly. Their entire roster and the addition of Jorge Soler in the offseason definitely passed the eye test. I believe that they can find success this season, without the shadow of a doubt. Next in the NHL, although not that surprising, the Florida Panthers were lighting up the scoreboard. They won both of their games over the weekend as well. And in those 2 victories, they've outscored their opponents 12-2. Next up, one of South Florida's newer additions to the sporting world, Inter Miami CF. This was an MLS team that entered the season with an entirely revamped roster. The group looks nothing like it did last year. They started their season with a draw, and then they struggled. But now it looks like they found their footing. Even in the absence of football star Gonzalo Higuain, the team has come together on a united front. In his place, 21-year-old Leonardo Campana has emerged as a true rising star in the MLS. In his first game as the guy, Campana led Inter Miami CF to their first win of the season, scoring 3 goals and what would become the first hat-trick in club history. But the team didn't stop there. They earned their next win on the road this weekend in a 1-0 victory over the Seattle Sounders. This amounted to back-to-back wins after a slow start to the season. It also marked the first time that Inter Miami CF won a match outside the Eastern Time Zone. On the road to victory, goalkeeper Nick Marsman had 4 saves, and the Clemson Tigers product Robbie Robinson scored the only goal in that game in their 1-0 win. The Sounders remained aggressive throughout the entire game. They definitely didn't back down after getting a goal scored on them. They took a total of 20 shots until the final whistle. It was very heart-pounding to watch as a fan. I'm sure the players themselves were anxious for that final whistle. The clutch gene the defense, specifically keeper Nick Marsman, displayed in the final sequence is a true testament to the team's ability to maintain composure and stay focused. Following that performance, Major League Soccer also recognized defender Ayman Mabika for his on-field efforts during the match. They named him to the starting 11 MLS Team of the Week. He's absolutely deserving of that honor. Mabika maintained an almost unbelievable 85% passing accuracy. He also made 2 key interceptions and 8 clearances in the defensive third. Inter Miami CF has found their footing. That is undeniable. If you want to see for yourself, they're playing tonight against Miami FC in the U.S. Open Cup at the FIU Stadium. Now, something tells me that they'll win that match and do it pretty convincingly. Even after all that, we still have the one. The current crown jewel in Miami sports. Yes, I'm talking about the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat put on a masterclass in Game 1 of the NBA playoffs. They torched the Hawks and shut down Trae Young. And the NBA world reacted with absolute shock. Wow, where is this coming from? Where has this team been? I'll tell you where they've been. They've been out and injured. This situation is not getting enough attention. It didn't throughout the season, and it's not right now. I actually tweeted this out right before the game. You can follow me on Twitter because I'm going to definitely put out throughout the weeks some hints to what I'm talking about on the show. The Miami Heat's key players missed a combined 225 games. For reference, a full NBA regular season is 82 games. Miami Stars missed a collective almost full 3 seasons. But despite injuries and absences, the Heat still earned the East's 1 seed. Let's run through these numbers real quick. Victor Oladipo missed 74 games. Markieff Morris missed 65 after that Jokic confrontation that a lot of people saw on social media, and especially the build-up after the fact. Bam Adebayo missed 26 games. Jimmy Butler, 25. Kyle Lowry, 19. Tyler Hero, candidate for 6th Man of the Year, missed 16. Without all those guys, the Miami Heat, Coach Eric Spoelstra, the whole team created a system and a game plan that won their games without stars. They didn't use injuries as an excuse. They kept pushing. Now they're here. A dominant Game 1 should not come as a surprise. The Heat are here. Here's an added plus, by the way. Since Miami stars were out and didn't have as many chances to play together, there's not as much film on them as a team. Opposing coaches and teams can't game plan for something they haven't seen, much less haven't had the chance to study. Just going to throw this out there. The last time the Heat entered the playoffs as the 1 seed, it was 2013. In 2013, Miami won it all. The Heat became NBA champions. I'm no fortune teller, but history certainly has a way of repeating itself. Kyrie Irving was fined $50,000 for his interaction with Boston fans in Game 1. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski broke the news moments ago, but that doesn't really come as a surprise. We knew the league was going to respond with some sort of penalty. Kyrie Irving is a polarizing star. Most of you have probably already made up your mind on Kyrie. Most of your favorite sportscasters have probably already made up their mind on Kyrie. And they spewed their opinion on the take dozens of times. Because Kyrie's incidents have been going on for a while already. Now, since there's a bit of history from Kyrie, a lot of media members have taken the situations and they've used them as opportunities to create polarizing arguments, since Kyrie is a polarizing figure. Now, I don't know if they truly feel what they're saying, but I do know that a boisterous, one-sided take is going to drive clicks and ratings. They know that as well. It's the nature of the business. In our time on this show, I've yet to give my Kyrie take. It just hasn't come up yet. But I'm going to tell you what I feel about Kyrie because I don't know that a lot of people share this perspective on him. And if they do, they haven't properly expressed it. I live in Miami, which is a big market city. I've always been interested in the entertainment industry, the sports world, and I've grown into those groups and I've grown part of them as I've grown older, especially as I began working within those circles. Because of this, I've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of different people from a very young age. Not just from one community or background either. I want to stress this. I've met people from a lot of different racial, ethnic, religious, and economic backgrounds. Because of that, I've developed a unique perspective, and in hand, through conversations and connections and just time, I've grown what I believe to be a solid ability to read people. I'd say I have a good read on people, and I know how they're feeling and what they're thinking and what their intentions are. From a sports perspective, Kyrie Irving is one of the best point guards in my lifetime. He's top 2 in ball handling. I'd say growing up, Steph Curry and Kyrie are 1A, 1B. Kyrie is a deserving all-star. He's an NBA champion. And he's all of that and more on the floor. And while he's all of that and more on the floor, Kyrie Irving is having an identity crisis. From the moment that Kyrie became an actual superstar, he wanted the world to see who he believed he truly was. He wanted fans to think of him as an intellectual, someone who had a higher understanding of life, someone who wasn't going to sweat the small stuff. But every now and then, Kyrie has these combative streaks. The double bird to Boston fans in Game 1, but even that he was doing it behind his head, he was trying to hide it from officials. It wasn't super confrontational. Then Kyrie goes to the post-game presser and says that he's not going to back down. He's going to stare down his haters, and he's going to see if they're really about it. Joy Taylor actually said this on The Herd. Of course fans are not actually about it. They're fans, especially Boston fans. I understand what Kyrie's going through. Boston fans can be brutal, historically so. I'm sure that especially since he's a former player that didn't leave on good terms, it's not a pretty situation. I'm not saying that Kyrie shouldn't defend himself. I'm not saying he shouldn't complain about the situation. But you can't have your cake and eat it too. Kyrie Irving either has to stay strong in his position as an enlightened individual and tune out the noise and not pay any attention to the fans, or he has to be the villain and public enemy number one who's chirping back at the haters, who's throwing it back in their face when he drops 40 and wins. But he can't be both. You can't act like the fans versus me narrative is below you and then stoop down to their level. As everyday people, we're always trying to earn a good first impression. That's important in today's society. We want to build an important and a good reputation for ourselves. We want the world to see us in a certain light so that we can carry ourselves in a certain way. We say things with intent. Athletes, especially superstars, have a unique ability to do this on a massive scale. Social media, TV, post-game pressers. It's just the nature of the business. But Kyrie Irving is painting a conflicting picture of who he thinks he is and who he wants people to think he is. And one day, who he wants to be remembered as. What I'm saying next applies to all of us. You're either the villain or you're the hero. Or you're non-confrontational. Or you're the instigator. Yes, you can act differently depending on situations, but that's just life. But be careful. Because whether you like it or not, people will only remember you as one. And with that, we conclude the show. Thanks so much for sticking around and being a part of this community, being an active part of it that we're building. Every time I upload one of these shows, I can't wait to record the next week's episode. I love putting these together and sharing my thoughts with all of you. I wonder what we're going to discuss on next week's episode. For sports fans, Inter Miami CF is playing right now at 7 p.m. Eastern in the U.S. Open Cup, and the Miami Heat are currently about to start in Game 2 at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I'll be watching those to the best of my ability on what's hopefully some sort of simulcast. Definitely going to have numerous monitors set up for that one. But until next time, I'm Benjamin Kier. You're watching The Benjamin Kier Show.